Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today, as I promised a few months ago, I am going to be talking about and covering the entirety of Chainsaw Man Season 1 now that it has finished, and I did watch the finale a few days ago, so it's something I do want to talk about. You guys know that I believe it was in October, the day that the first episode came out. I did do an initial impressions review and then said that I would do a follow-up video once the first season ended. So that time has officially come, and I'm here to just give you guys my thoughts. I don't have any of this scripted or anything. This is just kind of off the dome, just what I'm thinking. This might end up being a bit longer in certain parts, but I think the video as a whole is probably going to be pretty short because I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts. So anyways, let's get right into it. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is give you guys my overall thoughts so that moving forward you guys understand where I'm coming from and just my stance on it all. I think that Chainsaw Man so far has been a good anime. I don't know where I would rank it personally yet. I don't think that there's enough of it for me to be able to put it in my top 10 favorite anime of all time, though that is very possible. Recently I went and updated all my stuff on my anime list, and I found that honestly Chainsaw Man anime doesn't make it. With season 2, with like the portion of the story that they are going to be adapting, when season 2 comes out, it can very easily make my top 10 if handled correctly. But as of now, it doesn't, though I did really enjoy it for what it was. It was really fun to just, every Tuesday, it gave me something to look forward to, because I hate Tuesdays. But, you know, new Chainsaw Man episode, I had that to look forward to after school every day. So that was fun, and just being able to experience it with the community, watching it with my girl, like all of this stuff, was just fun. I did like that about it, and the animation was just fantastic. The way that it was adapted was fantastic. You know, drawing out certain scenes that didn't really get much page time in the manga. Just fleshing out everything, fleshing out the characters. I really did enjoy that, though there are parts about the animation, mainly in the CGI parts in the fight scenes, did throw me off a little bit. And that's part of it that I'm a little bit iffy about moving forward, because I do think that, like, especially when you get to like the fights and like the ending and all that, it's gonna start to get like a little wonky. But that leaves me a little concerned for what the future brings as far as the show. But you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm not gonna hold that against the show when it hasn't even happened yet. But yeah, the CGI parts in Chainsaw Man Season 1 were, you know, a bit wonky, like I said. I do think the whole scene with Himeno when she's drunk and, you know, that whole scene did not need to be CGI. Like, they did the whole first person part, which was okay, but then like when she's on the bed and she's like a 3D model, that just, I was like, nah, that just doesn't look right. That it doesn't not need to be 3D like that. So parts like that in particular are what threw me off. You know, it makes sense like during fight scenes for it to be like the 3D CGI, whatever. I mean, that part, it's noticeable, but at the same time, I didn't care too much. Like, it just, in my mind, I'm watching the scene and it's so fast paced that it's like, it just flips a switch and it's like, oh, CGI, but then I just go on with my day. But when it's a scene like that, with the Himeno scene where it's just slow and drawn out and just does not need to be 3D, when that happens, that's what I have a problem with. But other than that, I mean, that's such a small, you know, nitpicky thing, probably, you know, so overall, though, I did think that it was, like I said, quite enjoyable. It was well adapted. I'm just excited to see what the future brings. Everything else about it was just really good, though. I mean, the soundtrack was fantastic. I do like how every episode, the endings were different, so that was cool. But like, the opening was great. Obviously, everybody was talking about the opening when that first dropped. But aside from like opening and ending songs, the actual OST for the show is just awesome. I absolutely love the battle music, and just it just sounds so good. It was and moving away from like the audio stuff, visually speaking, it was a very cinematic experience, which I did like. Just how, I don't know, just it was adapted well in the parts that are supposed to be slow and drawn out. They did a really good job, and it just felt like such a high quality cinematic experience, which I did quite like. All of that kind of stuff combined just made it really good. It looked great. Just, you could probably pause the show at any point, and it just looked great. There was so much thought and effort put into the show. There are some parts that don't look as great as others, but for the most part, it's just fantastic. One of the things that I was most interested in, though, is how they're adapting certain characters. Now, the first time I really noticed this was a little bit later in the show, when we were introduced to the Future Devil, who was portrayed way differently than how it's portrayed in the manga. The Future Devil in the show is portrayed much more as like a funny, goofy jester character that is really like a psychopath, he's all goofy and funny, and then just with the flip of a switch, he can turn on you and become like a murderous freak. Like, that's sort of the vibe that I got, almost like the Joker in a way. That's what it reminded me of. But I feel like in the manga, it was portrayed way differently. More of like a quiet, ominous figure. But so there's just like some creative differences there. And I don't know if Fujimoto intended for the Future Devil to be portrayed like that originally in his source material. But of course, he greenlighted, as far as I know, he greenlighted everything for the show. So he may have liked that idea and decided for that to be a thing, or if that was his purpose to begin with, I don't know. But I'm excited to see how maybe that theme continues on in the future, when we start to see characters that weren't fleshed out as much in the manga, and we get to see more personality from them moving forward in the show. That I think can be really cool, again, if handled properly. Really, that is about it for my review. That's just, what was on my mind and what I wanted to talk about. I will say that it just left me wanting more. Just the 12 episodes of just, for the most part, pretty fast-paced action, and even the slower moments did feel faster paced, because it's a very fast-paced source material, so it just left me wanting more every time. I felt like watching a 20-something minute episode just went by like that in the blink of an eye every week, and it's leaving me wanting more now, and I can't wait for season 2 to come out. Though I do know that it probably won't be happening for a while. But when it does, I'll be obviously covering it on the channel, and I'm hyped. So overall, it was pretty good. Did not crack my top 10 yet, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and am really excited to see what happens. Anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because I would greatly appreciate it. And also give me your thoughts in the comments below. I'm interested to see what everybody else is thinking. Or if you want to have like a full conversation, be sure to join my Discord. The link will be in the description below. So have conversations about that or anything else otaku related. I'm down to talk about. So I hope you guys did enjoy. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.